Thanks for coming back on the Roadrunner Review, and we have a special guest on the show. She just finished her third season as the head coach for the softball team, and boy, has she done some incredible things for the program. She sports an incredible 112-52 record, and she has won a regular season championship, 2 RMAC tournament championships, and she has taken the program to the NCAA Tournament all 3 years. And in 2015, she was named RMAC Coach of the Year. Now joining us on the show is Annie Van Wetzinga. And Coach, thanks for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
All right, so earlier in the show, we showed your team's run through the RMAC tournament and through the NCAA championship, and a lot of us didn't really know what to expect from the 2016 season. You guys lost 10 players from last year's roster and even had 2 players go down to season-ending injuries early in the year. And were you surprised about the season that you guys had and still managing to do well?
Yeah, no, you're definitely correct in saying there was like a lot of question marks. We weren't really sure maybe where the season was going to take us. One thing we definitely talked about even before games started that this season was going to be a process. We were focusing 100% on just trying to get better from one game to the next, not worrying about where we're going to be in May, not worrying about championships. We're just worrying about little things getting better, and the team did a great job of doing that. Like, we definitely got better and better each weekend, especially from our non-conference to our conference season. And we were hit hard with injuries, some before the season even started, and then some during the season. But as it went on, I think it actually made our team come together more, especially that last month of the season. And they just kind of figured things out. They figured out how they needed to compete. They figured out coming together as a team, and it was a really great run at the end of the year.
Let's talk about the RMAC Tournament Championship. All season long, you guys was battling with Colorado Mesa. They eventually took the title. And so that means if you guys was going to make it to the NCAA, you guys would have to go over there to win the title. Yeah. So how did you guys was able to get the RMAC championship?
Yeah, for sure. Mesa had an incredible conference season, and they kind of ran away with the regular season there, and I thought we did a great job of hanging in there, and I think it was really important we secured the number 2 seed. I think it started with us finishing the regular season strong when we were in Spearfish at Black Hills State. We played Black Hills State twice, and then we actually played Mesa twice to end the regular season, and we went 4-0 that weekend. And I think that was a huge catalyst for us going into the conference tournament. Because even going in, we knew the conference tournament at that point was going to be at Mesa over in Grand Junction. And the way the girls performed there in that last regular season, it just gave them confidence and momentum going into the conference tournament. And they just kind of quit worrying, I think, about results and that sort of thing. And they just went out and played hard, and they played for each other. And the conference tournament ended up just kind of being the result.
So, unfortunately, your run in the NCAA tournament was a little short, not only because those Texas teams are pretty fierce, but you guys did have a lot of injuries, and I know you're a no-nonsense coach, but your team was tired, and you had a lot of players playing positions that we hadn't seen them play all year.
Yeah, for sure. I think in one aspect, I think in a way the team, especially where we're at injury-wise and number-wise, we probably did overachieve a little bit. And I would say maybe not a lot of people expected us to get to the regional tournament, but they did. Like I said, we turned it on towards the end of the year. And, we had even some injuries that people didn't necessarily know about, or people kind of working through stuff that affected us as well. Our pitching staff was pretty shallow at times. And so we kind of ran out of gas, and we ran out of players a little bit. And when you're going into a regional tournament, obviously it's all going to be good competition. You don't get to the regional without doing well. And we certainly weren't 100%. And so I think it all kind of caught up with us, and we didn't necessarily compete. Well, I'd say our girls competed because they keep trying hard, but we didn't necessarily put out the product on the field we wanted to. But at the same time, it wasn't for a lack of effort.
And Coach, looking towards next season, you guys are lost at 3 senior, and Arlie, she should be back from her ACL tear, and majority of the key contributors will be coming back. How excited are you for next season, and is there any holes that you think that need to be filled?
We're super excited for next season because we return so many experienced players. We're going to have people coming back from injuries, Harley being one of them. Tess Haas, she didn't play at all this year because she was a freshman and came in with a knee injury. We're excited about getting her healthy and getting her into the mix. Ashley Kim broke her finger at the end of the year and wasn't able to finish. But she got some great experience. And then we have some new people coming in next year to give us depth and more options. And we're super excited. I was just talking to Coach Milnes, assistant coach, and just I think the options of like where people might fit and the flexibility and the experience. We're so excited for next year and can't wait to, for it to be here and get people on the field.
So how big was Cassie Smith for you guys this year? I mean, with all the injuries and some of the players that you guys lost from last year's roster, she was kind of thrusted into that leadership role, and she had to, move around, play some positions she'd never played before, and she went on to win the RMAC tournament MVP.
Yeah. Can't say enough about what she did, especially I'd say that last month of the season. And I'd say being thrust into things was a good way to put it. But I had these conversations with her because at times this year she struggled with balancing everything. You could tell it was, kind of starting to be more of a burden than an opportunity at times. First 2 years, all she had to really worry about was just pitching. And we had other older players to be leaders too. This year, everything changed. She still had to be, a starting pitcher, and then she was also hitting all the time and playing in the field. 3 different positions she's played this year, and then also we kind of had to demand from her and be thrust into that leadership role. She had to kind of understand that the energy ran through her, and that's in a way tougher than even the physical play, like the responsibility of being a leader and the accountability that comes with that. So it was I think definitely a growing up year for her, and she figured a lot out. And then what she did, that last regular season against Mesa, and then the conference tournament, she's kind of said, let's go team, we're going to go do it. And to see her compete, the way she competes is pretty cool. She's not going to typically light up the stat board, as I say, with the pitching and the strikeouts and that sort of thing, but she just wants the ball and competes, and she gets it done.
And our coach, jumping to another player, we saw that Calissa Vukovich was named to the RMAC co-defensive player of the year. We have seen her make some spectacular catch during this season. She's also one of the big time table setter for your squad. What did she mean to your team and your team success this season?
Yeah. The way Sis plays center field is pretty special. And we all know, new coming into this year, from even beginning with her freshman year, how hard she plays out there. And that's what it is. To me, outfield, it's simply there's the ball. I'm going to be determined to go get it, and that's how she is. She sees it, she gets a good read, and she's so great at running down balls. You think off the bat, there's no way she can get to it. Some balls she just gets to it and makes it look easy. Other ones, you can't believe she caught it, and it's nothing but a mindset, and that's something we talk about with the whole team is don't worry about the results, just go and do it, and that's kind of how she is out there. And she took a big step offensively this year, too. Ended up putting her in our leadoff at one point in the season. She did a really nice job, a big increase in offensive production, and she's someone, when she gets on base, she can really make things happen. She's a great base runner, stealing, taking extra bases, so she is definitely a catalyst that way too.
All right, time for a break here on the Roadrunner Review, but Coach is going to be sticking with us, and we're going to talk about why she came to downtown Denver and how she's transformed the program in such a short time. You don't want to miss it. Welcome back, and we're still here with MSU Denver softball coach Annie Van Wetzinga. And Coach, before we get to the tough questions, we wanted to ask you about that time a couple years ago when we had you mic'd up for a game, and it seemed like you were having fun out there, busting out some MC Hammer, waving at the camera. What was that experience like? Were you maybe playing to the camera, or is that just Coach Annie Van Wetzinga on any given game day?
Well, if I remember correctly, it was probably one of our best weekends that we had. I could tell the team showed up, we took care of business, and like I always like to tell everybody, winning solves a lot of problems, It makes you relax, and I remember the way we came out that weekend. I think it was our senior weekend, and it was our teal weekend, so we had a lot of things. I think the players like to get up for those weekends. So we performed really well, and I can always tell when our team gets on the field just by the way they carry themselves, it's going to be a good day. We're going to have good effort, and we had just a really good vibe that weekend, so it definitely helps coach relax, and the girls go out there and take care of business. And then, I like to have fun with it. You guys are there, give Eric something to laugh about a little bit. So I gave you guys a wave. But I also, I'm very, I guess I get described as maybe no nonsense a little bit, and I am definitely focused. But we do like to have our fun too at times. So if you're in that on the team, we're in the dugout, we have our moments where we can enjoy moments as well and have a good time. Because if you're not having fun, then it's hard to demand the high level of accountability and the hard work that the girls put in. So we definitely like to have fun. We have our lip syncs and we have our fun on the bus too.
So, Coach, along with fun, the sarcasm, the wit, the competitiveness, it seemed to filter down to your student athletes, and they love it. And when love is in the practice, I mean, the ladies will play softball with more connectivity. And so, what have you make your program? I mean, you've been here 3 years. What have made your program flourish?
Well, first it starts with good people and good athletes. I think we've been blessed with really good people to be around, and they're talented, and they have to have a willingness to buy into everything that we're talking about and we're doing, and we've been lucky with that. The people that want to stick with it, they're all in, and we talk about that. I tell people this program isn't necessarily for everyone because it's hard. We are demanding in terms of not just the physical, but just bringing kind of that passion that you talked about. I think that's what kind of separates teams from the pack, is bringing that edge every day. And so we talk a lot about that. And I do think, especially this year would be a good example, I think finally the team kind of found their footing and found their personality, which is important. And we talk about having that fun. And I like players with personality. And people might be surprised by that, because I am pretty focused. But I like sometimes when they can kind of challenge me with their own wit, and we can kind of go back and forth. Because I always tell them, at the beginning of the year, I tell them, you guys are boring. I like people with personality, and they can step out of their bubble a little bit. And so, that's a big thing. Practices, those are going to be really challenging. That's probably going to be more intense, and we're going to pressure them a little bit. And then when we get to games, I want them just to go out there and let it all kind of hang out and have fun and compete.
All right, Coach, so you just finished your third season here with the Red and Blue. Before that, you spent 3 years at Upper Iowa, and before that, you were a coach at the Colorado School of Mines here in the RMAC. So what was it about MSU Denver that made you want to come to downtown Denver and coach here?
Well, I knew about MSU Denver, obviously, when I was at Mines, and got to know Joan McDermott, the previous AD, as well. And when I was at Mines, we definitely had, I think, a budding rivalry at the time between Mines and Metro. I think it's a natural rivalry, they're kind of the antithesis of each other, And so we had definitely some tight matchups, and I had the opportunity to kind of move back closer to home. And so I took the Upper Iowa job, and then I got the phone call. I knew that this job was opening up, and I always thought it was a great place to be, very competitive atmosphere. I miss Denver a lot. I think Denver itself is a great city, and I did know that the new complex was coming down the pipe, and that's hard to say no to. So all those factors, I kind of wanted to get back to the city, being in such a competitive environment and with a new facility, it was too good to pass up.
And Coach, speaking of new facility, direct, I think that would be legendary for years to come here at MSU Denver. But with a new complex, how it has helped you coaching, and how it has helped you build a success that the softball team has had?
Well, it's a game changer. Obviously we just hosted the Spring Sports Festival. That wouldn't have happened without the new complex. The atmosphere down there is awesome. You're looking into downtown where the field faces. It's a big time program feel at the field. It is hands down the best complex in the state. It's probably the best field and softball facility, maybe even within a few state radius, in the region. So it's a game changer when you bring recruits here, when you have camps, other teams to get that exposure. They remember this place and they can appreciate the complex too. So being able to show that off to recruits, community, it's huge. It's a special place, and definitely lucky to have it.
All right, so continuing that complex and the Spring Sports Festival. We got to see the best of the best here in Division II in 6 sports at MSU Denver, including softball. So just seeing all those top programs, the high level of talent that came here, does it kind of motivate you to bring your team to that level, hopefully soon?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. What I really liked about it is, to be able to see it up close and personal and see what those teams have. But a lot of our team was here volunteering, watching games, and so they were watching pretty closely too and getting the feel for the environment and seeing what those teams brought. And so I was happy that they got to see that, and I think they're motivated by it as well. I also think, it's a good indication that we're not far. We obviously maybe didn't put out what we wanted to at regionals, so maybe that was a little rough, but we know, like, talent-wise and where we're at, where the program's being built, we're not far off. And a few changes here and there and a little bit more experience for our girls, and we want to get over that hump. And like I said, I hope we can be a host for the national championships in the future again, and we can be a part of it.
All right, Coach. Well, we can't thank you enough for being on the show with us today and sharing your thoughts about your team. And we hope you have a fantastic season next year.